Walk into any gym on a Tuesday night and you'll see people training hard, but are they training for reality? Most martial arts training has an intensity gap that you don't even know exists. Here's the question no one asks. If someone's life depended on what you're learning, would any of it matter? There's a gap between how most people train and how they'd need to perform if everything were on the line. It's not your fault. You're showing up, putting in time, learning techniques. By recreational standards, you're doing everything right. But combat isn't recreational athletics. In the gym, you throw a combination and reset. In a real situation, there is no reset. You control your power to avoid hurting your partner. In a real situation, controlled power gets you killed. You start from agreed positions. In a real situation, the starting position is whatever your attacker chose while you weren't looking. You tap and restart. In a real situation, there is no tap, no restart. The gap is enormous, and most training never acknowledges it, let alone bridges it. This isn't just about individual students, it's built into the systems themselves. Boxing is a sport. It has rules, rounds, referees, and a specific objective: score points or cause a stoppage within those rules. Even the hardest sparring session exists within that framework. Boxers train to win boxing matches, not to survive life-threatening encounters. The two are not the same. Muay Thai is a sport with rules, weight classes, and a scoring system. The clinch that works in Muay Thai assumes your opponent can't bite, eye gouge, or target the spine. Take those rules away and the effective technique may become a death sentence. BJJ is a sport with rules, points, and a very specific context. One-on-one, no strikes, mat surface, starting from positions that assume both parties are engaged. The guard that works in BJJ assumes your opponent isn't allowed to slam your head into concrete or punch you in the face while you're down there. None of these systems were designed to create warriors. They were designed to create competitors within specific rule sets. Consider a different approach: military combatives training. Programs like the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program exist for one purpose only: to prepare service members for situations where their lives are genuinely on the line. There's no sport component, no recreational track, no just here for the workout option. From day one, the training carries a specific understanding. What you're learning may one day be the difference between coming home and not coming home. This changes everything about how training is approached. The intensity is different. The intent is different. The seriousness is baked into every drill, every repetition, every session. And here's what's interesting: that intensity itself creates capability. When you train with the understanding that your life is on the line, you develop a mental architecture that supports technique under genuine pressure. You learn to act with commitment, not hesitation. You learn to respond, not just react. There's a phenomenon observed in military and law enforcement circles that most civilian martial artists never encounter. A person with adequate technique but absolute willingness, someone who is trained with the understanding that their life is on the line, will almost always outperform someone with superior technique but less willingness to do what's required. The gap isn't small, it's substantial. It shows up in performance. The ability to execute under conditions that would freeze someone who's only ever trained recreationally. It shows up in execution time, the difference between responding and reacting, between acting with commitment and hesitating. It shows up in outcomes, the difference between surviving and not surviving. Technique matters. Of course it matters. But technique alone, without the mental architecture to support it under genuine pressure, is just choreography. It's dance, it's not combat. Even within serious systems, most practitioners train at a fraction of the intensity that genuine preparation requires. They're weekend warriors, a term that captures the casual relationship most people have with their training. They show up when convenient. They train hard enough to break a sweat but not hard enough to break through anything. They learn techniques but never test them under conditions that matter. This isn't judgment, it's observation. Most people have jobs, families, responsibilities. Training is something they do for fitness, for community, for fun. It's not central to their identity. It's not something they'd sacrifice everything for, and that's fine for recreation. But it's not preparation for combat. The weekend warrior mentality is comfortable, but it won't be there when you need it most. If you want to be prepared, you need to train with the understanding that what you're learning may one day be the difference between coming home and not coming home. Train with the intent that your skills must work when everything is on the line. That's the only training that will be there when you need it.